Welcome back to the studio. Today we're going to be talking a little bit about tattoo elements. I know that we did a video on this in May of 2020, but that was before I knew how to edit videos. And I looked at that video today and it was cringeworthy. So I thought I would redo the video a little bit. Tattoo elements are basically decals that you can use to personalize your space. I have used them on my Bernina Q24, and I've also used them on my toolbox in the coordinating theme. What I used was the hyacinth and the winter rose. I had originally bought these years ago for my handy quilter. My handy quilter was white, and so I bought the printed on clear decals, and I bought the exact same two that I ended up using on my Bernina Q24, but I changed the color. And I only changed the color to match the writing on the machine, but they still have the hyacinth and the winter rose. But I want to move the camera so you can come in and see we have a little brochure that you could order, but you can also see the full selection of these on our website. As I mentioned, we do have a little brochure that has a lot of the tattoos in it. It may not be absolutely up to date because we have new ones as well, but the brochure also shows you how they are used on the handy quilter, on domestic machines. We even have a photo of it used on a stand mixer. Any hard, flat surface these will work well on. You just want to make sure that you clean your surface. If it's dusty or if it's oily, you certainly want to clean it with like a little alcohol swab to make sure that it's completely grease free and oil free. And once you do that, these will stick really well. Because they are not cheap, you want to take some time in figuring out where you're going to put them. And how I did that was I made a color copy on regular paper, and I printed these out, and I just cut these out into sections, and then I went ahead and taped these on my machine or on my rolling tool cart, just so I could get an idea of where I wanted to put these when I got around to using the actual tattoo. Because the tattoo elements will go on, they will be permanent as long as you don't peel them back off. But once you do peel it off, it's not reusable. So you don't want to be trying to reposition these over and over because they just won't stick. Once you peel them off, they curl up and then they're no longer usable again. So you want to take some time making sure you get them where you want them. The other thing you need to know is that they are printed either on clear or they're printed on white background. If you have a white machine, you could use either the printed on clear or printed on white because the white will just disappear. If you have a black machine or a dark gray industrial looking machine, you really absolutely need the printed on white. That gives you a little white echo around the entire decal, but it also fills in the background, and that allows that to pop on the darker machine. If you bought the printed on clear on a dark machine, you're not going to be able to see any of it. Not only are the edges not going to show, but the decal itself is not going to show. You're just going to be able to see right through it to the back. So you want to make sure that you order those correctly, printed on clear or printed on white. That's absolutely essential when you order these. And I just used a little pot scraper to burnish mine. Here's an example of one of the things that I did. This is a tension clamp, and I got these from Quilters Apothecary. They sell them in sets of 3, and these go on my leader bars to keep my leaders tight when I'm using the long arm machine. And this little hibiscus is just a sample that we give away at shows. The hibiscus came in this orangey peach color. It also came in a pink. And I've used these on here just to brighten up my clip a little bit. I was going to record the video of that, but I forgot to turn the sound on. So I've already gone ahead and done that, but I'll show you how to do other decals as soon as I get the camera moved. You can see when you open the package, everything that you see on the front cover is exactly what's going to be inside the package as well. You have all of the pieces here, and I'm just going to take a pair of non-fabric scissors and cut out some of the shapes. And just as I did on my machine, I'm going to mix and match from two different sets to get the exact feeling that I want from mine. And you can separate these elements up and then figure out what you want to put where on your machine. Now these will wrap around the machine edges fine. The only thing I don't want to do is really cover over any of the seams where the cover was put together, so that if a mechanic has to get into the machine, that it won't hinder service on your machine. So I just want to go ahead and put some of these on here and give you an idea of how easy they will go into place. What you'll have is on the top layer is a thin piece of paper, and the bottom is a little bit thicker cardboard. And you can see they separate, and when they do, you're left with that little decal on the inside layer. And what we're going to do is just carefully position that on our hard, clean surface, and I'm going to use my little pot scraper just to burnish the top of that a little bit. And then you can go ahead and peel the paper down, and you can see just how easily those go into place. And I'm just going to continue picking and choosing some of these designs. Now this leaf was from the Wild Rose collection, and this is from the Hyacinth selection, but I'm going to mix and match them because the color is exactly the same. And again, these are easily removable and they leave no residue, so if you needed to remove one for any reason, there would be no issue. But they're not repositionable, so you do want to be careful about where you put them. But look, I just want to show you that you can see through the tissue paper. Here I avoided putting the decal itself over top of the writing on the Bernina machine. But I also wanted to show you that these will go around the corner of a product as well, so that you could get the design flow exactly where you need it. You do want to be careful not to get any little air bubbles in there, but other than that, it works just beautifully going. Even around a sharper corner it will go, and you can see that on my Bernina Q24 when I move the camera over there. But we're just going to peel the paper off very carefully. Oh, love that. I love it. I have utilized the two different packs of tattoos on my machine, and one thing I'd like to mention is I also use them on the toolbox for my feet as well. And please note here that this is a clear, printed on clear, and it does show up really well on the clear portion of the door, and the clear shows up really well on white. But I've gone ahead and utilized the different components on my machine, and you can see that it goes on angles and around the corners as well. I have some on top, and these are great because what I like about it is it identifies my machine easily. So if I take my machine in for service, or if I take my machine in for a class, I know I'm leaving with my machine. I know that it's not going to be confused with somebody else's machine of a similar model. Also, having the tattoos on your tool accessories helps to identify those as well, and keeps everything together in a classroom setting. Or if you're going to a dealership where there's going to be multiple people owning the exact same machine. And you can see I still have components left over that I can still utilize on other things. I may put these two on my Horn of America sewing cabinet just so they coordinate with the machine itself. Might use the rose as well on one of the front drawers. But you see how easily they go onto the machine, and I'm also going to pan the camera around so that you can see my Bernina Q24 that I've used the same two patterns but in a different colorway, and on my Husky toolbox. Here you can see that I've utilized the same rose pattern. These are printed on white, and I've used those on my Husky toolbox. But I want to show you what a fail looks like. I'm going to pan the camera around, and you can't even see anything on the bottom left drawer of that toolbox. I don't know if I can get close enough for you to even see the fail of it. That is one of our tattoos. It's printed on clear, and it's on a black toolbox, and you can see it doesn't show up at all. And this is why it's important, if you're getting tattoos for industrial machine that's gray or black, you definitely want to order printed on white. If you got printed on clear and think it's going to be okay, you won't even be able to see it. That's what it's going to look like. So make sure when ordering that you order the correct version. But I'm also going to reset the camera and show you what my Bernina Q24 looks like. This is the side view of my Bernina Q24. You can see that I used the same two in the collection for the design. I just switched up the color. And because of the logo is kind of almost a burnt orangey red, that's why I chose this colorway. Even though I was actually a little bit fonder of the pinky and purple version, I went ahead and got this to match the machine. This is the other side of the machine. Even though the Bernina Q24 has slight corrugation on the side of the machine, the tattoos still fit really well in there. You just had to be a little patient in making sure you rubbed it into spot as you were applying it. But I hadn't had to reposition any of them, and in the end they all went on beautifully. And finally, this is the front view. You can see I have my scissors hanging on a couple Command Performance hooks, and underneath that is one of the roses, and there's a little canthus leaf on the front, the Hyacinthia pattern. So I really love mine. They make me feel really happy when I'm in the sewing room. It's a great way to personalize your space, and I'm sure you've probably seen these on somebody else's machine or in a dealership at a show like Houston or Paducah, because we often have dealers coming and buying these to personalize their machine for the show, because they really grab somebody's attention. So we have a full selection of these on our website, and you could also ask for a little paper brochure to be mailed to you. Well, thanks for joining us this week. I'm glad you got a look at the tattoo elements. These are great for both personalizing men and women's space. We have flames for the guys, we have some roses for the girls, and vice versa, if that's your thing. These are really long lasting. They really beautify your space. They personalize your machine so that they're easy to identify. Again, we do have a brochure available for those, but they're also available on our website, and they come in really nice packaging. And you can even, with your friends, each buy one or two and then mix and match in colors that please you. And that way, when you see your machine or your space, you could be thinking of your friend when you see the ones that you exchanged with them. So they really do brighten up your spot, and I love mine. I love the way it makes me feel about sewing when I'm in the room. It's just another personal touch that really makes me feel like me. So, and nobody else can do me any better than I can. I'm the best at being me. So I want to thank you for joining us today, and I hope you enjoyed the tattoos as much as I have, and we'll see you again next time.